Randy,
What up, homie?
how's it going?
Man, it's been a minute, dude.
Is this your apartment?
Yeah.
Did you move?
So I bought this table for the kitchen. In that corner. You know how if you're walking down the hall and you look straight ahead into the kitchen, you can see like that. I used to have a dresser, literally a dresser with a tablecloth on it. So I actually bought a really nice kitchen table. And I was like, you know what? I just need to start doing these Milkshake Scholar things. So I just, pulled the table out a little bit, put a chair behind it, put some stuff on the wall.
Yeah, because I don't remember these pictures in your apartment.
Yeah, I had to put some prints up, man, put some stuff up.
You became an interior designer during the pandemic.
A little something, man. A little something. How you been, man? Greetings and salutations. You are tuned in to Milkshake Scholar Season 2. I'm your host, Randy Winston, and today I have the privilege of bringing on my brother, my southern brother up here in New York City, Tre Wells, mentoring and evaluation manager, basketball player. He don't like to talk about it, but he hoops. Tre hoops. And Tre is also one of my Nike run partners on the Nike app. Now, Tre, you had the Nike app for a while. I'm new to this, so like you gotta keep me hip to what's popping because I'm still trying to work my way through it. I don't know what's going on.
Right, Randy, you be running. Don't act like you don't be running out here. You were beating me at one point in January. I was like, okay, Randy out here.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I remember when I first, because I hadn't run in forever, man. It's been like over 15 years since I actually real. And I was like, man, like I remember when I was running those first couple of miles early on, I'm thinking about all the people I know who run. And you were one of those people. Like as I'm running, I'm like, how do these motherfuckers do it?
You just got to put that routine in, man. I think for everybody it's hard when you first start out, but if you keep putting in the miles and being consistent with it every day or every other day or how often or whatever capacity you have, it's gonna seem easy, man. I qualified for the marathon. I can't believe I qualified for last year's marathon before COVID canceled it, but I started out looking crazy, and then I slowly progressed and got my miles up and got my times better, and I was gonna run the marathon. So anyone can do it.
Damn. So are you planning to do it again once outside opens back up?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So if you qualify for the 2020 marathon. No, yeah, the 2020 marathon, they put you on the waiting list for the next two. So I can either run the next one or the one after that. So
that's dope.
Yeah, you're running, man. I'm running now. I'm trying to get ready.
That's dope. Wait, so for people who don't know, what's your average? Like how many miles? I ain't even gonna talk about times because then we start talking about times and I get discouraged. Let's just talk about this. What on average, how much would you say you run during a week?
I tried to run at least 3 times a week, and I tried to run at least 3.5 miles on each run. So that's kind of how I do it. So I live by a track, and I just go to the track and try to get 3.5 miles.
I didn't know all that, Tre. I didn't know you was running on a track.
Yeah, I'm running on a track. I'm a pro, Randy.
Oh,
I'm not like you passing the streets and the asphalt. I need real track.
I need a track in my life, man. That's some Atlanta shit right there, man. Like I'm out here running in the park. They got hills and stuff.
Yeah. Even when I just moved to Queens, but even when I lived in Washington Heights, I would run to Riverside Park, or I think that's the name of the park, not Riverside Park, Riverbank State Park, and I used to run at that track. Yeah, so dang. I believe in tracks. Dang. My feet are too fresh.
Tre done put me on game. Next level. I need to find a track in Brooklyn. See, that's why I've been slacking off. I need to find a track in
Brooklyn. Yeah. I know there's one. So
Tre, speaking of health and wellness, this is bad, but you won't be surprised to know that I have a milkshake on this table, and I put it in a solo cup in honor of all the house parties that you and I have missed during COVID.
Oh my goodness!
I got my milkshake, and this is by. I'm gonna tell you, Tre, this is a deep fried banana and Nutella, and it's
Oh
empty
my.
because I put the whole thing in there. But it's by
Okay.
Lotus Scoop, and they're in Brooklyn. It's a
Okay.
black-owned ice cream shop, and it's delicious.
Sounds good. Yeah.
It's delicious. I mean, a part of why I've been running is because of this. You know, you can't just. I'm 34. I can't just be drinking milkshakes and not doing something physical. So here we are, man. Here we are.
I'm trying to keep the pandemic weight off too. That's my motivation. Not look when I go back to work or when I go back to wherever that people say, Tre, dang, you gained all that weight. I was like, at least I tried. I put in the miles. You can't say I didn't try to keep it off.
yo, Tre, how's the fam doing? I know you were home for a little bit. How's everyone doing?
My family's fine. I'm originally from Arkansas, so yeah, I spent from August to November, mid-November in Arkansas. My family's fine. There's nothing to do. Everyone's just locked in. We had a couple of socially distanced kind of outings. There was a couple of birthdays and stuff like that. So we kind of went to my cousin's house and we were all kind of spread out with our masks on. But yeah, even though I'm with family, I still feel a little sad just because I can't see my family as often as I could if I were just there on a regular day or just for a regular vacation. But yeah, we try to make ends work and we're trying to keep it safe. So I think most importantly is that everyone wear the mask and social distance. And yeah, but my family's fine. Everything's great on my end. Yeah, how's your family?
They're good, man. They're good. They won't see me for a while because they're in Atlanta, and as you know, Atlanta wide open right now, so they're not gonna see me for a while. They're not gonna see me for a while. I'm good.
Yeah, no. Atlanta's crazy right
now. Atlanta's too open, man. People been sending me videos that I ain't gonna talk about on the air, but I'm just like, what are y'all? All love. All love. You know, Tre, I was thinking about this. So you're from Arkansas, I'm from Georgia. My roommate is from Alabama. And I'm just thinking about how much I took for granted when I lived in the South. Because, you know, here in the concrete jungle, you know, during the pandemic, you really feel those limitations or those small spaces that you're living in. Whereas in the South, you got a porch or you got a backyard, you got a front yard. So if if that's your bubble, you don't have to wear a mask while you outside sitting on the porch and that sun hitting your face and your skin. And
no, yeah, when you live, especially if you live in Manhattan, as soon as you walk out your apartment, it's not within your control to like not go against them. Like you're going to bump into someone, you're going to have to walk past someone. Like it's out of your control for you not to be able to do those things. When I was in Arkansas, there'll be days where the only person I was in contact with was the cashier at the store I went to. Even when I was at the grocery store, I'd have to walk past someone when I was walking down the aisles. I could like easily avoid people with my grocery cart. When I go outside, I just go in my car. I don't got to walk past someone to get to my car, you know? So, and I'm not wearing my mask in my car, you know? So in New York is a completely different situation. You have to wear your mask all the time because you can't avoid walking past someone in New York. It's impossible. So yeah. And the food is better. There's no good soul food in New York at all. In my opinion.
Tre, whenever people like, what do you miss about food and like, what do you miss about Atlanta? I always say food, but then I have to specify, like when I say food, I mean portions because I like.
That's true.
The portions.
$10 in Arkansas can feed you for at least 2 meals. $10 in Arkansas can feed you twice. In New York, $10 can barely get you an appetizer at some places, you know. So
talk about it. I mean, and you know, when I go home, I end up spending so much money on food, and then I get back to New York and I look at my bank statement, and I'm just like, oh my god! And it's all food, and it's because I'm not used to getting the bang for my buck anymore. Just not used to it anymore. So in Atlanta, you know, I would spend about $8 and I'm like, man, I just ate a whole ass meal.
A styrofoam container this big filled to the brim of food. Yeah.
You feel me?
You don't get You don't get that here at all. If I go out to eat in New York sometimes, in my head I'm like, I'm just gonna come back home and I'm gonna be sad at my bank account. But it's okay because I had a good time.
Yeah.
The cost of living is just different. The cost of living is way different.
Trey, there's been times where I've been out to eat, and I'm fortunate, to know you, to know people, like know people that understand like the price of the food versus the portion. So like when we hang out, I know usually you and I, like if we're hanging out eating, we usually do a good job of making sure we eating good. But when I've been out with other people, I'm not even lying to you, Trey. There have been times where I'll go sit down at a dinner. I would spend about $50 to $80 at this dinner, and we got to share everything because they bring small plates to the table. So I'm sharing my food for $50 to $80, Trey. And so I would leave the restaurant. You can't invite everyone. Everyone's going to the train station.
Yeah.
And I'm mad. And so what I would do was I would wait. There were times when I would even swipe my card and pretend to go into the train station. As soon as everybody left, I'll go right back out. I'll Google Map where the nearest Wendy's or McDonald's is and go in there and just pig the fuck out.
Yeah. Yeah. And the food may taste good. The food may be the best food you've had ever because New York has good food.
Oh yeah.
But you might not leave full. So you might not leave full, so you might have to go to the bodega before you go home and get that bag of chips or go and get that sandwich real quick because you're still hungry when you left that restaurant.
You're still hungry. And now with like the way everything is with COVID, the flip side is we're in New York, but I get to cook now. So now I have more time, or let me rephrase that. I have more time to cook because I would cook before, but I couldn't cook as often as I wanted to because you would have dinner at home, but then your folks at the job would be like, "Yo, you want to do happy hour?" Or someone would hit you up and like, "Yo, come to this part of town. There's a show tonight. I got you a ticket." You like, "Oh, I gotta go."
Yeah.
Or like I'll hit you up and be like, "Yo, Trey, you want to go to this game tonight?" And you just like, let's do it. So I get to cook more.
Yeah, exactly. You got 2 new kids too, Zion and who? Zion and Ezekiel.
I got Zion. I got Pal. I got my other one there, Pal. Then I got my Uncle D, the cast iron.
Oh the whole family.
Got the whole family here, man. I got the whole fam.
Yeah, I've seen you've been taking advantage of building your skills during the pandemic. I've seen it.
I'm trying. I'm really trying, man. Listen, I'm in my 30s now, and people tell me like, "Yo, watch out," because when you're in your 30s, your body starts reacting differently to things. So I'm trying to watch it, and I'm saying all this as someone who is on camera drinking a milkshake.
Yeah, when you get for sure, you got to stop. Yeah, I eat I eat a pretty decent amount of ice cream yesterday, and I was like, Trey, you got to stop. You're getting older. Your body cannot take you eating all this ice cream anymore. It's Saturday, but still, Trey, get it together.
I mean, Trey, for the most part, Trey, ever since I've known you, you've been eating pretty good. Like you have a pretty decent, you have a balanced diet for sure.
I try because I've had family members. I have lots of family members that have gone away because of heart disease and stuff like that. So I try to stay. That's something in the African American community that's just super common. It's just so the food we're raised on. Let me not say that. Soul food is just not the healthiest of foods. And my family in the South, at least for me, that's what I grew up on. I grew up on fried chicken once or twice a week. I grew up on macaroni and cheese and greens 3 or 4 times a week. And when I got to college, I was like, this is not the food I'm eating in college is just a lot healthier. And I'm not trying to say that the food I grew up on is less than, but you can't have it every single day. So I try to make a conscious effort to make sure that my diet is okay. But on the weekends, it's hard. When I'm not at work, it's easier when I'm at work than when I'm like on the weekends just kind of chilling or whatever. But yeah. I
mean, even the milk that I drink is different. Like I used to go in on whole milk, and now like even when I made this milkshake, I made it with oat milk, and if it's not oat milk, it's cashew milk. If it's not cashew milk, so I'm always thinking about like, all right, if I'm going to have this, what can I do to kind of like take some of the bad, some of it, man. And yeah, so I've been thinking about that a lot more lately, especially during the pandemic. Just like what I put inside of me, how can I fix that a little bit? So we'll see.
And also, I've been thinking a lot about the pandemic. I cook a lot, but I don't cook a lot of dishes. And if I have a family, start a family, I can't be just cooking my little stir fries to the family every week. I need to get together some trade Wells trademark dishes that I can just pass down, that I can just learn and make, and I can be that guy that makes this one dish or have these couple of dishes. But I've been thinking about that a lot. What food am I going to bring down from my mom's generation, my grandmother's generation that's going to get passed down? I've been thinking about that quite a bit. So I've been testing out stuff a little bit. I'm going to make salmon croquettes this week. So that's my task. So we're going to see.
Tre, you know what? I speaking of family and passing down dishes, I actually interviewed my mom. I got it on voice recorder. I started interviewing my mom and my dad on the recipes, and this was passed down to them, stuff that they started. Because I've the elders in the family are going to be here forever, and I want to be able to, before I leave this earth, be able to pass something down to my kids, like you mentioned. So I've definitely been thinking about that as well.
How easy has it been? Has it been an easy experience? Has it been a hard experience?
Trey, Black folks, and you know this, man, like depending on what the topic is, family don't want to talk about it. Especially like the older people in the family, because they went through a lot, they've been traumatized by things, and they just, they don't want to talk about it. But I got to tell you, when it comes to food, it hasn't been that difficult, especially I'll say with my mom and dad. That's been like some of the most, like those are some of the best conversations I've ever had with my parents. They, especially my mom just like opened up, like just, what do you like? Anything else? She called me one time. She was like, "I think you forgot about," and so we like, and me and my mom talk pretty often, but like that conversation in particular was just, it was great because you get the backstory behind where it came from, who it came from, what that person meant to them. So I don't know, that was really great. It's like that. And I talk about this a lot with authors who write books about family. It's really interesting to see your parents or your uncle or your auntie or your grandfather like in a different light, because I think you always see them as like that role of grandfather or grandmother or aunt or uncle. But it's nice to just be able to see them as human beings. And I think those stories, like those recipe stories, for instance, bring that out.
My grandmother has been my recipe person I've been talking to, and she gets so excited when I ask her about food, because she's at an age where she doesn't cook it. She still cooks about the week, but not nearly as often as when I was a kid. I'll like ask her about a dish that she probably hasn't cooked in about 2 or 3 years, or maybe even longer. So she's like, "How does I make that? Oh, Tre's gonna make it. Tre, you got to send me a picture when you're done." Like, she gets really excited because she knows that she's not going to anytime soon. But the idea that someone's interested in kind of remaking some of the food that she made is exciting for her. And I can imagine how exciting it is when you're in your 80s and you ain't made salmon croquettes in 6 years, and someone's trying to bring up the idea or just even asking you, how did you used to make it? It's bringing up probably good times for them, in the past when they used to cook all that stuff, when she was busy in the kitchen often. So, she's super excited. Yeah.
Were you a kid that, for me, I didn't want to, when I was younger, I didn't want to know how to cook. I just wanted to be the kid that tastes the food before it hit the table. Were you like, what kind of kid were you? Like, did you go to the kitchen a lot? Did you want to know what was happening in there?
I did want to know what was happening in there, but I also had parents, specifically a grandmother, that did not want kids in the kitchen when she was cooking too, which I also completely understood.
I don't even know why I asked that question. I know better.
Yeah. To the point where sometimes my grandmother would pick me up from school, take me home, and the food would just already be ready. The food just in the microwave, because she knew that she didn't want no kids in the kitchen while she cooking. So, I've always been curious, but
my mom would. Go ahead.
I've always been a curious kid, but I've never had the opportunity to really be curious, because my grandmother would shut that down real quick. So,
It's funny you say that. My nana, God rest her
mm-hmm.
soul, when she used to come visit us, she was the exact same way. Stay out this kitchen. My mom wanted us to learn because my mom couldn't. Like my mom and dad, my dad would work two different shifts at two different jobs. So my dad was working all the time. Mom's working all the time. And during the summers, if my parents couldn't afford to send us to summer school summer programs or whatever, we would stay home, and that's when we would cook. And I'm talking about Trey. I'm 8, 9 years old, and we cooking a whole ass chicken. And the chickens back in the day were almost as big as a turkey. But in America, we put stuff in them chickens, so now them chickens about as small as your hand. But me, my sister, my two sisters, and my brother, we would cook like rice and vegetables and chicken and sometimes cornbread. And this is at 9 years old. And my mom would be like, "All right, that better be ready when I get there." You'd be like, "Yes, ma'am. We did exactly what you tell us to do."
Jeez, got some parents, man. Those are good skills to pass down. Those are good skills to learn when you're young, because you won't be in your 20s. When I went to grad school in Virginia, all I knew how to make was spaghetti and stir-fried vegetables and chicken, like chicken on the skillet, and that's it. That's what I ate for probably the first 3 months when I was alone in Virginia by myself. And it was sad, man. I was just looking crazy. I was sitting at a lunch table with my other grad student peers, and they like had actual food with actual size, and I'm out here with like my 5th spaghetti bowl of the week. So those are skills to learn, good skills to learn when you're young, man, because when you're out here, when you like me, only child, sheltered, very much so sheltered, when you get to 22, 23 years old and all you're not making spaghetti, you're going to look crazy, especially when you're trying to talk to girls and trying to invite them over for food and all you can make is spaghetti. So,
Trey, I told you what my mom said when I was younger. She told me, "Son, you need to learn how to cook because no woman can cook for you as much as you can eat."
Exactly. That's a word, Randy. Your mama is speaking facts.
Yo, oh man, there was something else I was gonna tell you. It was related to food. There's something I think that you would love because you run and you work out. Is and it was passed to me from a good friend of mine. It's quinoa, chopped Brussels sprouts, or chopped asparagus, shrimp, and black beans. And what he did was he would make them separately, and then right before he served it, he would mix it all into the same pot, and then just get you a bowl. So you got your protein, you got your greens, you got your fiber in there. So that's and it would be like a soy sauce or a teriyaki a bit. So, and that was, I would eat. That's what I was eating. When I started running again in December, I was eating that the night before my run. So that was great.
Yeah, but that sounds good. Lots of protein. Quinoa has protein in it too. So yeah, that's a little protein bowl you got. And the beans. Yeah, man, that's the exercise.
Oh yeah, you love your beans. That's what I remember. You used to have them beans a lot.
Randy, that's an essential. I have a whole in the kitchen right now. I have a whole shelf filled with bagged beans and canned beans. Man, I love some beans, man. Love it.
You said I remember when we worked together. I'm like, man, Trey's saving a lot of money with them beans, man. You save a lot of money.
Because when I first met you, I just moved to the city. I was big broke. I borrowed money to get there. I was trying to save up as much money as I can. I remember because going out in New York is such a part. If you live in New York and you work in the city, going out for happy hours and stuff is so a part of the culture. Like you're going to go out on the Tuesday night after work to get some drinks. Probably for me at least once or twice a month, going out on a work day to get something to drink, and that money racks up, man. And if I wanted to do that, which I did, and it was super fun, I can't be eating out for lunch every day, because now that order and delivery in New York also adds up, and it's also a part of the culture. It's really easy to just order out 3 or 4 times a week for 2 weeks in a row. Like that's really common, So
yeah,
you got to save it where you can.
Hey, shoot, you're right about that, man. You got to save that money. Look, talk to me. I wanted to chop it up with you about Big Brothers Big Sisters. It's one of the
Yeah,
things that I admire about you. I mean, you work hard and you do a lot of good things, but this is like one of the highlights. Whenever I mention you to a friend, I always talk about like your mentorship and the work that you do with Big Brothers Big Sisters. Can you talk a little bit about that? And
yeah.
how long you've been doing that work?
Yeah, so I've been with Big Brothers Big Sisters. This is going to be my third year this month, I think. Yeah, so it's been 3 years. I was matched with my little. His name is Amari. So I met him when he was 14, and he was in middle school. And at the beginning, we saw each other every other weekend, and we talked on the phone every week. And yeah, this relationship is just like blossomed into like he feels like my real brother at this point because I've seen him so often for over 3 years at this point. But yeah, what it typically looks like is that I check in with him once a week on the phone. He usually is the one that initiates it. He FaceTimes me. I just say, how's it going? How's school going? Especially now because of the pandemic and he's not with his friends anymore. I just really want to make sure that he has some sort of social outlet, someone that he can talk to. So he calls me, he FaceTimes me often, but we get one like kind of substantive kind of check-in once a week. And then every other weekend we try to do something together. So when there was not a pandemic going on, we used to play basketball all the time at the park. We used to try to take him to as many museums as I could. The most recent museum we went to was the Hip Hop Museum in the Bronx. Highly recommended. At Bronx Terminal. But yeah, we just get whatever he wants to do for the most part. We'll just do it. So if it's like going to the movies, we'll find a weekend to go to the movies. If he wants to play basketball, and yeah, I think when you're in high school or just kind of at that age, or just a young Black man just living in this world, you really sometimes want that role model. You wish you had someone to talk to and ask questions that you want to get answers to. So right now, what me and Amari are talking about right now are just jobs and kind of what he sees himself doing in the future, because he's going to be a senior next year. So I've been connecting him with some of my friends who have job interests and kind of, or who have jobs and things that he's interested in. But yeah, honestly, when I first joined Big Brothers Big Sisters, I thought it was going to be a very high lift, but he makes it easy because he tells me what he wants to do. All he wants is just to have someone to talk to whenever he wants to, which is, I don't think that's a really big ask for a teenager to have. So yeah, so I'm just there to support him on his journey.
That's
what I do.
That's wild that he's going in senior year, man. It feels like just yesterday he was a little man.
It's wild because he was in middle school when I first met him, and there's been a lot of stuff educationally for him, like he skipped a grade and lots of stuff has happened. But no, he's about to be a senior next year. So yeah, he's gone from not to call Amari immature, but he was certainly immature when I first met him, and now he's he's way more mature now. He's starting to have questions about things he's starting to have conversation and interest in things I wouldn't have ever thought that he would be interested in. Yeah, he's come a long way over 3 years. Teenagers grow fast, man. They grow physically fast and their minds grow,
Yeah, we forget that as we get older, man. Sometimes we forget that, so it's a good reminder. What's something that you've learned about yourself during this whole process, like your friendship with him?
One thing he taught me for sure is to patience, for sure. So there's just been times where I would go into an outing with like expectations of what would happen. Like, oh, we're going to go to the museum and Amari's going to be exposed to this and then he's going to be interested in this. And we're going to have conversations about these things. And that day is just not a good day for Amari. The day that we met and the day we go out on that outing and just the outing just goes on a completely different path. And I used to be kind of bummed out about it because I would think that would be kind of my fault or that I didn't do anything wrong. But in all actuality, I shouldn't be placing these high expectations on teenagers as it is because they're going through their own journey. They're learning things. And I'm just on the ride for it, So I just think I certainly learned to learn patience, or I gained more patience just because I come into these outings and come into these experiences not really expecting anything, which I think is something that you should kind of go into with all of your relationships. Like you want to wish for the best, but if something doesn't work out, Like, that's no one's fault. You know, that's just what happens. And you just have to respect that. But yeah, I think that's kind of one thing I had to learn. Like, there's no perfect outing because there's no perfect people. And we all just got to take it step by step. And yeah, he taught me that. And it also taught me kind of the importance of having a mentor in general. So like, not mentors aren't only for kind of people that are only, it's not only for kids. Like, adults need mentors too, you know? So like, I've done lots of digging and trying to find myself my own mentor professionally and personally, because when you're an African American in this world, you need as many kind of benefits and advantages as you can. So I think mentor professionally is going to make sure that you don't have to go through any experiences that other people have had, or go down any wrong path that other people have necessarily been down, you know. And it kind of guides you to the right directions. It gives you more insight in your profession or your field. And it allows you to kind of move with a little bit easier than you would if you didn't have someone to kind of ask questions to, you know. So yeah.
It would be a crime of me to end this without mentioning that Bernie shirt you got on. I love that shirt. Where'd you cop that from?
I got it on Etsy. I forget. I can't remember the exact name of the shop or the account, but I got it on Etsy. They have lots of these on Etsy, man.
I love it. Yo, tell me something. So I've been asking everyone who comes on this question, and it's a fun question because it gives you a perspective or a peek into someone's life, in a sense, in a way that you wouldn't think. So tell me, the song that plays during the opening credits of your biopic.
The opening credits of my biopic. I know where I want my biopic to start. I want my biopic to start in high school, before I go to high school, for sure.
Okay.
And something that people may or may not know about me is I was the biggest band nerd growing up. So I was in marching band from 9th grade through college. I marched all 4 years in college. I was the drum major of the Morehouse College marching band. Marching bands have been
Trey, for the people, Trey, I don't mean to cut you off. For the people who don't know, please tell us what school you mentioned again.
Morehouse College, the Morehouse College, the illustrious Morehouse College. Yeah. So we'll definitely start there. And I think my love for music certainly started kind of going into my high school years. So I would be remiss to not have some sort of marching band something going into my life just because in my song. You know, I love marching band music so much that it could be the intro music to my song, to my biopic. So I'm going to say Morris Brown by Outkast. That's going to be my intro song, and it's going to take you into my whole world of marching band and how it's transformed me and made me the person I am today. So that's how I'm going.
Every time I think about that song, I remember the first time I played it and I was washing my car. I had just picked up the CD from the store because CDs were still relevant. And yeah, I had it playing. My dad was outside walking the dog and I'm washing my car and I got that thing playing, man. Oh, I missed that. I missed it.
Yeah. And then the ending song to the ending credits. What's that Moneymaker song? Who does that? Is that 2 Chainz? Who does that song? That Moneymaker, they had all the HBCU bands in it too. Oh, now I gotta look it up. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. And you know what I'm doing? My mind is messing with me because I'm trying to remember who like that visual, but it's also Ludacris Moneymaker that's also messing with me. So
I just looked it up. It's 2 Chainz and Lil Wayne Moneymaker. So I want to go from Outkast, Morris Brown, then 20 some odd years later, or 10 some odd years later, Moneymaker by 2 Chainz and Lil Wayne. 2 iconic rap marching band songs. So.
The South, baby, the South.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, man, listen, I appreciate you coming on, man. Take some time out today to be here, brother.
Yeah, no problem. Anything to help, man. Milkshake Scholars, where is that? I cannot wait for you to go out and be back in these milkshake stores and giving us that production on 1,000. Every time I look at your videos, I'm like, Randy has a whole crew of people out here. These look like they need to be on like actual TV, like on Netflix or Hulu or something. You do a great job. I'm just glad I'm here.
I appreciate it, man. Oh, Tre, the one thing I wanted to do, is there anything that you want to plug personally, or like any organizations that you want to shout out or anything like that?
Yeah, sure. So for sure, Big Brothers Big Sisters. Big Brothers Big Sisters always need mentors, always need Black male mentors. So if you ever have any questions around kind of what it takes to be a mentor with Big Brothers Big Sisters, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm on Instagram at wells.ar. So wells.ar, you can just direct message me if you have any questions about that. But also, you can just check the Big Brothers Big Sisters New York City website. And then also, I'm the president of an organization called Young Education Professionals New York City, and we try to do our best to kind of share networking events and also other virtual resources to young education professionals in the city. So to learn more information about that, go to youngedprofessionals.org and search up the New York City chapter, and we are here to help. So, or you can feel free to reach out to me again. We also have on my Instagram page, wells.ar. And then also we have an Instagram page for young education professionals. That's YEP_NYC. And yeah, that's it.
No. I appreciate it, man. Tre, you know what's funny is while you started plugging everything, your sound is clear as day, and then your video started chopping up. But I got it. I got it.
Okay. Yeah, and I think it's still frozen too. So
that's all right, man. Tre, we in pandemic times, man. Ain't nothing perfect around here. As long as people got the information, that's the most important thing, man.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, brother. I'll see you soon, man. We got to do some social distance at some point. Yeah, we'll talk offline about it.
Okay. All right. See you later, man.
All right, man. Appreciate it, brother.